Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. I'm Kevin Kietzman, and I've got about 1,000 good reasons today why I'm a talk show radio host and not a stock trader. And boy, am I glad for that. Not that I wouldn't have the stomach for it. I guess if I did it professionally, I probably would have found a way to do it. But we're going to leave it to the experts. And today, we have a gentleman coming on that I've known for quite some time, and he's really smart about these things. His name's Trevor Holsinger. He's been AspenWealthManagement.com here in Kansas City. Actually, they share the office park that we office in. He's just a couple of buildings over where they are at Aspen Wealth. So Trevor Holsinger will be here to talk a little bit about what's going on and maybe what we should all be doing depending on age and things like that. And we'll get his thoughts on what he thinks will happen long term, because I've shifted anything I'm thinking in the markets to long term and not what's happening today. But I'm not a day trader. I'm not selling. I'm not buying. I'm on the sidelines right now with my investments that I've had for quite some time. We will take your phone calls on the show today, and we're going to update you on a lot of these things that are going on. Everybody is talking about the new world order, and there's really no other way to describe this. In a remarkable statement over the weekend, United Kingdom Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the Labour Party. This is a far-left socialist party. They identify with the European socialists. He announced that, quote, globalism is over, unquote. And I'll try to simplify this as best I can, and we'll see what Trevor thinks a little bit later when he joins us. This is essentially saying America has taken care of the world since World War II. We've paid for everything. We've paid for NATO. We've done everything in Europe. We rebuilt Europe. We've subsidized Europe. We have trade deficits with Europe, and we fund NATO at an unbelievably disproportionate level. It's just been tax Americans and give the money away. I don't know about you. We could sit here and be bothered by watching our stocks go up and down, or you can actually think about the goodwill of no longer giving our money away to places we've never been and people we will never see. That's a lot worse than my stocks going down. Giving your money away sounds really stupid, and that's what we've been doing for about 60 years or more, 70, and it clearly can't continue. The other thing I do is I try to simplify things. In Hong Kong, their markets are closed now. In Hong Kong, they got cooked. So on the same trading day, we know what's happened here. It's been wild today. In Hong Kong, 13.2%, one day. Worst day since 1989. Their worst day since 1989. London stock market down 6.6%. Right now, the S&P 500 is up about 0.75% in the United States. The Dow is down about 0.5 point, or it was right as I was coming on, 0.5 percentage point. So if we're looking at a day where let's just say we lose 1% today, I don't know, maybe 2% today. Hong Kong down 13.2, London down 6.6. Folks, the wealth gap is getting greater. Yes, our markets are going down. You should see what's happening everywhere else. The people that run those countries are getting desperate already. If you think there's pressure on Trump in this country, of which I'm going to tell you right now, he doesn't feel it. He doesn't feel any pressure to do anything right now. Let this go. Every single day that Hong Kong is down 13 points and we're down 1, is a winning day in any negotiation. It's a hugely winning day. I honestly think Trump believes he's in a situation where he thinks he can he can take these countries to the brink of bankruptcy, overthrowing governments around the world, moving toward democracy away from dictators and socialists. It's all on the table. Every country's different, of course, but Trump is clearly singling out China and Europe. Clearly. And he did that on Air Force One on Sunday. And what did he say about him? I have no reason to negotiate. Until we fix the deficits, I have no reason to negotiate. 45 minutes ago, a leader of the European Union had a news conference, read a speech, said we are willing to offer 0-for-0 tariffs with the United States. The entire European Union, 0-for-0. It's on the table. Trump is not taking the phone call. There is no reason to negotiate. Leave it right where it is. He's not negotiating because what he knows is we still have a trade deficit, and we have all these things that we fund like NATO and previously the European Union and all these other things that we pour our money into. And he's saying now, We negotiate that first. Then we'll talk about tariffs. You got a tariff problem? I don't care about your problem. I care about our deficit problem over here. We're going to fix this first. Then we'll talk to you about tariffs. His position is getting stronger and stronger by the minute. And nobody in this country seems to care. The media don't want to recognize this. A couple of great, really smart guests, smarter guys than me, were on with Pete earlier today. They were kind of downers. How can we look at a market that's basically flat here today in the United States and Hong Kong's down 13% and England's down 6.6% and not say we're getting stronger and have more leverage? Is there any other way to look at it than that? And I love the fact that he's focused on those two. They're taking calls from other countries and they're doing deals. There's other countries out there that are set. Vietnam, Cambodia, India. There's all kinds of countries that apparently we've sort of struck deals with or have handshake deals with at this point. Yeah, that's fine. We're good with you folks. It's going to be fine. But when it comes to Europe ripping us off and China ripping us off, you know where Donald Trump stands. And he's had it. And for the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom to say globalism is over and he understands why people voted for Trump based on economics and illegal immigration, that's from a socialist recognizing that. They realize on the left they've got a lot bigger problem. And if they think in this country that they can just verbally attack Donald Trump and say bad things about him, the playbook is spent, folks. They've been doing it for 9 years. You're not going to hurt Trump on this. Guess who's getting hurt with the stock market going down? The richest people in America. It's like the top 10% of Americans are getting hurt. Well, do we really feel bad for them? Something tells me they're going to be just fine. Peter Navarro, one of Trump's advisors, had an appearance on television, and he's guaranteeing that the Dow Jones will be 50,000 before the end of the Trump presidency. I think that's low. I think that's underselling it. It's about 38.5 right now, 39,000. It was up to what, 44 or 45 at one point? Yeah, it should get to 50,000 during this presidency. Heck, I thought he was going to say it'll get to 50,000 within a year, which would be phenomenal. That's about 28, 30% or so up from where it is right now if they reach 50,000. I don't see why it wouldn't unless this is absolutely the wrong thing to do and it doesn't work. But, again, your simpleton host, we saw it today. There was a report that Donald Trump was pausing all the tariffs. And what happened? You heard it live right here on KCMO Talk Radio. The Dow was down about 1,000. In very quick fashion, it flipped around and was up 1,000. It went nuts on the possibility of pausing. So guess what we learned? And you know what? They may have done that on purpose. That could be Trump just jacking with people. They may have leaked that information. They immediately said it's fake news. It is fake news. We're not pausing anything on anyone. It's fake news. And then the market turned back around and it's about level now. It's down maybe just a little bit. Dow's down 1.1% today. So the Dow is down. And the S&P 500 has been doing a little bit better than the Dow today. So they may have just been goofing around. I wouldn't put that past Trump at all to do something like that just to see. And the bottom line, if you want to get really simple and common about all this is, if he just caves and goes back to the way it was, doesn't all the market rebound? Doesn't it just reset where it was? It looks to me like it would. We had a 30-minute period where the market thought that Trump was putting a pause on tariffs, not ending them, pausing them. And the market was great. I mean, he literally could walk to the podium today and say, I was just kidding, April Fools, the whole thing is off. And if he did that, I bet the Dow would go up 3,000 points today. The whole thing would turn around. So there's no reason to panic here. This is not, the fundamentals of the economy are terrible. Nobody's working. The jobs report was great last week. It's not any of those things. Trump posted on Truth Social, the price of oil is down. True. Interest rates are down. True. Food prices are down. True. And there is no inflation at this point. I don't understand anybody panicking. It's not like COVID when businesses were just shuttering right and left and everybody was losing their job and getting sent home. That was a whole different deal. And yes, we made a lot of mistakes, did a lot of stupid things. And how fast did that rebound after COVID? That market went crazy after COVID. Came all the way back and then some very, very quickly. This too shall pass. Couple of fun stories here. Jaguar Land Rover. They're made in England. They have paused shipment to the United States for 30 days. 30 days worth of car sales in the United States, which is 25% of their business and their largest market other than England. 25% of their business, 30 days worth of cars is 8,000 units or $750 million worth of vehicles. So Jaguar Land Rover has said, we have $750 million worth of vehicles we're not sending for at least 30 days because these will be tariffed. And we're out. The other car companies are going to follow. They're going to sit at ports and not be shipped. That's what's going to happen. How many months does Jaguar and Land Rover lose $750 million in sales before they put pressure on their government to do whatever Trump wants? These countries are much smaller than us. Bangladesh is the number 2 garment manufacturer on the planet. They're begging for a 90-day reprieve right now. All they want is 90-day reprieve. Could you please pause us for 90 days? They're quoting people in Bangladesh saying we have million-dollar orders just being canceled right and left from the United States. The United States is obviously where they ship more than anything because that's who and what we are. Buyers in the United States are saying we cannot afford your garments from Bangladesh with the tariff. They're canceling orders everywhere. And all they're asking for is 90 more days, Mr. President, 90 more days. Why? This is absolutely the time you've got the hammer to crush these people. They've been ripping us off for years. Make them feel it. Punish them. It sounds awful, but if you're going to fight a trade war, an economic war, a tariff war, you fight to win. If you're going to fight a real war, you send your military and you fight to win. You don't fight to hold ground. You go to destroy. And if you're going to do this one right now, and you're taking the heat in your own country like they're giving it to Trump over the stock market of all things, which is the wealthiest of Americans, the whole thing's absurd. He's going to dig in deeper and deeper and deeper, ask for way more than he's ever going to get or need to get. But right now, know this, they're a lot more freaked out in other countries than we are in the U.S. of A. 913-408-7957. That's 408-7957. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think is going on. We'll do that next on Uncanceled. This is KCMO Talk Radio.
From Overland Park to Oak Grove, it's Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Uncanceled. Coming up in 10 minutes, Trevor Holsinger joins us from Aspen Wealth Management. We'll get his thoughts on what's going on. We were just chatting in the hallway a little bit about what traditionally happens after this and what the bump is when it comes back. It's going to be very interesting. He knows the historical data on that sort of thing. So we'll get into that and keep our eye out for any deals that are getting done. I think Trump's waiting them out now. I think he's going to put pressure on the Fed as well. I think he really wants those interest rates down and wants to put a lot of pressure on the Fed and see if he can do more for working class people. I think that's what this is all about. All right, Jim joins us now on Uncanceled. Good morning, Jim. What's on your mind today?
Well, I believe he's doing the same thing. That's what I have rolled a bunch of our 401k into the bond market when Biden went in office. It's done steady ever since. And now I need this market just to settle off a little bit more and then roll that bond money back into the regular market, because when he starts dropping rates, the bond market's going to drop. So you kind of need this to play it the right way.
Well, today might be a good day, buddy. I don't know. There's no way to tell, but that's 3 or 4 pretty heavy days down in a row. It might be time to buy.
I know it. I think midweek for sure, because I know he's going to run. He's going to get Powell to move it down. You'll call him and he'll say, hey, because he was right his first time in office on Powell screwing it up. So, he'll get Powell to change his mind. That'll be it for sure.
All right, buddy. Appreciate you calling in, Jim. Thanks for listening.
Yep.
All right, you take care. Here is Mark on Uncanceled. This is KCMO Talk Radio. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, good morning. First of all, I want to say I've waited a long time for a president like this to have the kahunas to do what's necessary to try to help the middle class, because we've been fed a lot of bull for a lot of years. But that being said, I think what really irks the Democrats and the media is that when he's being questioned, Trump looks as presidential and cool as a cucumber, and we're not getting any moo, 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 woo, woo, woo gibberish.
That is for sure. He handles it so well each and every time. But I think a lot of that is experience, conviction, and just knowing what he wants to do. When you're that confident in what you're doing, it's pretty easy to talk about.
Well, I know you're right. Years ago, we've all seen the videos of Trump on Oprah, and he talked about how other countries were ripping us off, which, by the way, the middle class, we've been saying that for years, but we've been told, no, just shut up, sit down, and learn to code. Well, we're not going to learn to code. We don't want to code. We want to work.
That's right. Yeah, and it's a great call. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. There's so much talk about the wealth gap in America, those who have and those who don't have. This is designed to close that gap. That's who and what it's for. No question about it. Leonard's in Shawnee. Good morning, Leonard. You're on KCMO Talk Radio. What's up?
Hey, not much, Keith. Yeah, I mean, if people just listen to Trump, and if they would just highlight every time he says, and I can tell you that's going to happen, like interest rates. I knew interest rates were going to go down. People are going to say, well, it doesn't make sense. He was going to pressure Powell. Also with oil prices, he's playing 3D chess. He can do whatever he wants. They're looking at this shiny objects with tariffs and all that kind of stuff. He can control the markets with one quick press release. And I'm laughing on the sidelines because this is how he's going to get Don Jr. and in another 16 years, his son Barron in to be the president.
16 years, huh? You got this all mapped out. I get you. Yeah. Barron might need a little more seasoning than that, Leonard.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But, I mean, you talk about legacies and everything like that. And the thing is, you look at an aerial view on this, and I'm just really excited because right now this is going to bring the national debt down, and I'm just excited about the future.
Well, we're hoping so. Thank you, buddy. Great call, as always. Yep. Appreciate you, Leonard. We're hoping it brings the deficit down. At this point, if they're really going to rake in $600 billion a year in tariffs, which I don't think they're going to get to because I think they're going to do deals with people, what we're going to do is create opportunity for American companies to ship more goods overseas. I think that ultimately is where we're headed. I think the tariffs come down everywhere else. It makes it better to be an American company. It creates a land of opportunity for companies that are in other countries to come build here, open here, and make whatever it is that they make here and ship it elsewhere without the tariffs. that have been so penal all these years. Yes, it's one big negotiation, but I love what he said with Europe and China. I'm not interested in talking tariff with you until we figure the deficits out, or the trade deficit, the things that were, especially Europe, the money that we spend in Europe and the things that we have done over the years for all of those companies. And, France is talking tough, like, oh, we're going to put a coalition together with the European Union and we're going to be extremely aggressive on retaliation. Well, that was yesterday. That's what today they've got somebody leading the European Union standing in front of a podium saying, we have let the White House know we've offered 0 for 0 tariffs. 0 tariffs to 0 tariffs. Well, once you've gotten them to say that, you're not even going to take a meeting. I want more. I want more NATO money, or I want NATO gone. We really don't know what Trump wants to do with NATO. He may just want it to go away. I don't know if Europe is our allies or enemies at this point. I don't know. I mean, I physically, like a physical war, they're certainly not an enemy. But I think Trump views them as an adversary right now. I think he views the European Union and those countries as the second worst offender to the United States behind China. And I think that's the way he's going to go forward on these things. I love it. I mean, hey, listen, seems to me like the hard part's over here. These first few days of the market's doing this. That's the hard part. If something happens within the economy and there's some metric that people have stopped spending, whatever, that's easy. Then you lower interest rates. And that's what Trump wants. He wants those interest rates down. He wants people buying houses. That will jumpstart an economy. Okay, when we return, Trevor Holsinger joins us. He's with Aspen Wealth Management. We'll get his thoughts on where it's all headed and what happens traditionally when things like this happen with the markets. This is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio.
From Gardner to Grain Valley, it's Kevin Kietzman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Welcome back to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. I'm Kevin Kietzman. I've got my good friend Trevor Holsinger in from Aspen Wealth Management. We share an office park together, so an easy opportunity for him to come over and see these unbelievable radio studios. Trev, how you doing, buddy? Everything good?
Doing great, except for the markets. But
Except for the markets.
it's fun.
Let's start with this. What are your clients saying? Are they nervous, jittery, jumpy? How would you describe this compared to other things that have been similar to this in the past?
Well, this market decline has happened. A 20% decline has happened 18 times in the last 100 years. So this is not normal. It's happened 3 times in the last 5 years. So our clients are comfortable and happy. You just got to have a strategy.
How about the metrics of the economy besides the stock market? Because I remember during COVID, people were fired, sent home, businesses were closing, the economy was basically shutting down. That seemed far more serious financially than this. Is that the case? And is there any similarity to COVID here?
I wouldn't say it's similar. The issue is the economy is strong. We're coming off of massive deficit spending the last couple of years. The economy's strong, employment's strong. My belief is these tariffs are going to cause us to freeze and slow down our spending. For example, I wanted to buy a chainsaw. Do I buy a chainsaw now? Do I buy a Husqvarna from Germany? I'm going to freeze up. I'm going to watch. What do I do? So consumers are going to slow down. That's what's going to happen. And there's a reason for that. The Trump administration wants an economic slowdown. We can get into that.
Because he wants to lower rates and sell houses, right?
No.
No?
Yes, he wants to lower rates.
Okay.
But the lower rates so we can refinance our debt. We have $9 trillion of debt that's refinancing. $9 trillion that matures. Okay, so the U.S. government has $36 trillion of debt. 1/4 of that $9 trillion matures this year.
At the end of the year?
Throughout the year.
Okay.
It's not just one day.
Ongoing.
And so if we can lower interest rates by 0.5% and refinance that debt at 0.5% lower, it saves billions and billions of dollars, which fits into Bessent's strategy.
So what you make it sound like is everything that's happened, they knew this would happen. That this is actually by design. Slow the economy down a little bit, bring the rates down, refinance the debt. Maybe Americans start to buy houses, which would bring, if the economy does slow, housing's the number one driver of changing an economy, isn't it?
This is a multi-year plan.
Okay.
This isn't a quick fix. This isn't a put tariffs in. And no, this is a rebuild our economy from the ground up, right? Put in tariffs, slow down the economy, refinance the debt. That's the next couple of months, right? But if we're going to rebuild our manufacturing sector, it's going to take time. As you said over the last few months, I mean, we're going to bring new jobs over, new factories over. That doesn't happen overnight. So this is a process over the next 4 years of their strategy.
Okay, so now I'm really putting the cart before the horse, and we were never going to talk about this, but my mind works in a weird way. So let's say this works, and it's 4 years from now, and Trump is out of office, and somehow a Democrat wins, and it's a far lefty. Gavin Newsom comes in and wants to do to America what he's done to California. Can Trump plant enough landmines in this thing that it can't be done by another president or undone?
I'm a big believer that it will be undone. It's just a matter of, does America let the other countries put tariffs back in place? We can't stop them. The new president can't stop them. Biden was going to implement tariffs. He's going to reduce the tariffs, and he implemented more tariffs. So the point is any new administration is going to do what they want to do.
It sounds like what you're saying is tariffs are just the vehicle to accomplish something much bigger and broader.
Yes. Tariffs. There's nothing good about tariffs. You ask any good economist, tariffs are a tax. Higher taxes are bad for the economy. Lower taxes are good. Okay? So you put tariffs in, it's a tax. It's not good for the economy. The reason we do it is so we can increase our manufacturing jobs. Right? It raises a little bit of revenue, but it's like 1% additional revenue. So Trump talks about that, but it's not much. So the point is we want fair trade. Bottom line, we want fair trade. How do we get there? You play hardball, and people are starting. 50 countries now have come back to us in the last weekend and said, hey, we want to talk. So if we can get fair trade, the U.S. economy will soar.
He's getting all these 0 for 0 tariff offers from these countries, and he's not taking it yet. What exactly is that? Is that wanting him to slow the economy down? Is that part of it? I mean, if Cambodia is calling up saying, "Hey, we're just done with tariffs. You don't have one. I don't have one."
Cambodia.
Why wouldn't he just immediately take something like that?
He will, but the issue is it takes time to they can't just implement. They're just talk right now.
Okay.
Talk is talk. Talk is
Right.
cheap.
Right.
Get it done.
Right.
Okay, change your policies over there. Now I'm raising my voice.
Yeah.
Change your
I'm with you.
Change your policies over there. Prove you're going to do it, not just this rhetoric that we've had from Mexico and Canada. Change your policies, and then we'll change ours.
And we've talked about this 36% number Stephen Miller talks about, and others of we're like a third of the world's consumption is the United States, even though we're a fraction of that in population. That's just who and what we are. So all these other countries, are they more like if I'm a Canadian citizen and I'm watching the markets and doing, am I more freaked out in Canada or England than I am here?
Everybody's freaked out.
Okay.
Let's be honest. Everyone's freaked out, but we are the big gorilla. I mean, you said 36. It's actually our economy, consumption economy is 26. 26%. These countries have to cave in. They have to cave in. We are so massive. We have so much influence. The issue is they don't want to, and they have too much pride.
I ran some numbers on Jaguar and Land Rover here. They've paused for 30 days sending their cars from England to the United States. Based on their sales totals for last year, that's over 8,000 units that are sitting somewhere in a port that are not coming here, or $750 million worth of sales in 1 month. They're holding back 1 month's worth of cars. Now, they're selling them here, great, because there's no tariff on them. They actually had a run on sales, so they've got some money, I guess, coming in. But what happens here with these car companies that are not going to ship their cars?
They put pressure on their governments to lower tariffs. And then they lower tariffs, and then they can sell them over here.
I'm guessing Jaguar.
This takes time. Everybody needs a little patience. The problem is nobody has any patience. All right,
I do.
This has been. You're right. You do.
I do.
This has been coming. This is a process. You know, we're not just going to fix our manufacturing sector in days, right? This is a sledgehammer. This is a process. Let the process play out. As you said, I trust in the guy. Let's give him a chance. The point is cars are going to be sold at a certain rate. You can postpone them. My chainsaw example, I can buy a chainsaw next year. I can buy a car next year, right? And over the 4 years, there's so many cars sold, whether this year or next year. It's okay. It'll work out. It's just, this is going to be an economic.
It'll be slower now
Yes.
and bigger later, which
Yes.
is, I think, what they're calling for. Trevor Holsinger's with Aspen Wealth Management. They're online at aspenwealth.com here in Kansas City. So it sounds like you believe the plan looks good on paper to you. It looks like it will work, that this is needed to be done probably our entire lives, huh?
Well, many countries have told the Trump administration that, why is it taking this long to do this? You know, so now they're doing it.
They were surprised. They're like, I can't believe you waited this long, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So, you know, this is a negative thing for global economy. The global economy was so finely tuned, just-in-time inventory. This throws a wrench in all that. There's nothing good short-term about tariffs.
Okay.
And the stock market is pricing that in. It's a long-term plan.
Am I a bad person if I like these other countries having some pain? I mean, I'm looking at this Hong Kong down 13.2% in one day, their worst day since 1989. Why does that make me feel good?
Well,
I shouldn't.
It's
should I?
not good for anybody.
Wait. But if we believe they've been ripping us off,
They have.
I feel good about it. And if England's market today is down 3.5 times more than ours, I feel good about that too. To hell with them.
If you want fair trade, this is how we get there.
America first.
Right.
So I don't have to feel like I'm a bad person, right, Trevor? I'm okay?
You're okay. The issue is it's the same thing in life. I mean, if I'm going to open a door for somebody else, you want them to reciprocate, right? I mean, be fair, be nice, right? And so no one's being nice to the U.S. We've been run over by everybody, and they want our foreign aid, and they also want our us to buy their goods. I mean, the trade deficit. The issue is we have $36 trillion of debt. Okay, we have to do something to fix that. Our entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and the interest on the debt is all of our income for the U.S. government. We have no more. We have no more to give. We've given it since World War II. We can't give anymore.
Right.
If we continue to give more, we're going to fail. So that's what people don't understand is what's failure look like? Okay, if this continues, what's failure look like?
Well, we've got 36 trillion reasons to say we've been failing.
Right.
Okay, so we talked a little bit a couple of days ago about age ranges with people. and the stock markets. And I don't know who's doing what or what's going on. There's no blanket advice, so everybody's different. But let's just do like 3 age categories: young workers, middle-aged workers, and nearing retirement age workers or retirees. That's kind of the third category. Is there anybody that should be selling at this point? Is this a hold situation? What are your thoughts on, depending on what your age is, what maybe people should be thinking about right now?
Well, let's start with the young people. I always ask the young people, I said, do you want the market to go up or down today? And they say, I want it to go up. And I'm like, no, you want it to go down because you're going to keep buying stocks over the next 20, 30, 40 years. Do you want to buy them at a higher price or a lower price? Stocks are the only thing in the world people want to buy more of at a higher price. So stocks, I mean, I go to somebody and say, okay, do you want to buy a car? If the car prices are up, you're going to buy another one? No. You want them to go down. So stocks are down. They should stay the course and keep buying and willfully accept and want lower prices. And you're getting them. So the young person should stay the course and buy stocks, and this is a good buying opportunity.
And if they could find another couple hundred a month to put into it, do it, right?
So the middle-aged person, short term, I look at the CNN has a fear-greed index, and it's ranged between 0 and 100. And 100 is super greedy. The market's at a high. Right now, it's 4. Super fearful. And so I'm a big believer. You buy the CNN fear-greed index below 10, you're going to get a bounce, okay? So secondly, thanks to State Line Capital, when the market is this fearful, the next 5 days, the next week, the market's typically 4.25% higher 1 week from now. So we're going to get a bounce. You kind of saw it this morning. It's a tug of war. Right now,
right.
You got sellers, you got buyers, it's a tug of war. We're going to have a short-term bounce. So look for a bounce in the next week. Then what do you do? I think that the person that's 40 to 60 years old, the market will go back up. They'll be fine.
Stay the course.
Don't panic. This is not a time to panic. Now, the older person that's 60 or over, the market is overpriced. It's the most overpriced it's been in history. And I keep saying that. And so if this is too painful for you, then look at bounces and maybe sell some equities and lower your risk after it bounces. So I think the market's at an all-time high. It's going to gyrate here, and it's not going to be like up 10% annually for the next 10 years. So look at the rallies, reduce some risk, look at these opportunities and these declines today, this week, and do some buying.
Your website is aspenwealth.com. It's Trevor Holsinger. And I assume your clients are calling you and like, okay, what are we doing here, Trev? What's going on? Are you hearing from most, some, a few? Is it the same people that always call and the same people never call? Like you got clients that just like let you do your thing? How does it, when something like this happens, how does your world change?
Well, there's people with opportunistic. They're like, hey, this is an opportunity. What can we buy? How can we capitalize on this? And there are a few, less than 5, that are like, am I okay? Am I okay? What's going on? I had a call last week, and he's like, how am I doing? How am I doing? I'm like, you're down 1%. So no big deal. This is an opportunity, and he's been planning for this opportunity to buy some stocks.
Yeah.
I want to make one more comment.
Sure.
So Scott Bessent's strategy is, he called it the 3-3-3 plan, right? 3-3-3 is, the first 3 is reduce the budget deficit to 3% of GDP. Right now it's 6%.
Okay.
The deficit is 6% of our gross domestic product. Reducing the interest rates and reducing the interest payments is that. 2 is increase GDP to 3%. Okay. His third one is produce 3 million more barrels of oil per year, from 13 million to 16 million. I say that because one area to invest, if we're really, really, really going to produce 3 million more barrels, oil service companies.
What can you name a few? What those are?
Valaris, Noble Energy, Schlumberger, companies that are going to help us produce more oil. I'm not saying buy oil.
Right.
Oil may go down if we produce more oil.
Right.
Oil has gone down the last week because a lot of the OPEC countries are increasing their production.
The companies that lead to the production.
Yes.
Is where you want to be.
Yep.
That's awesome. Great advice.
So
let's do it. Trevor, always good to see you, man.
Thanks for having me in.
And
great studio.
Let's ride the roller coaster. We'll have you back, and we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll have you back next week.
These are opportunities. They really are.
I'm with you. Let's go. Let's go. Let's be Americans. Let's go get it. Trevor Holsinger's with Aspen Wealth Management in Kansas City. You can get him online at aspenwealth.com. Uncanceled continues on KCMO Talk Radio.
Call Kevin Kietzman, 913-408-7957. Now on 95.7 FM.
Welcome back to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. My thanks to Trevor Holsinger from Aspen Wealth Management for joining us today on Uncanceled. They're online at aspenwealth.com, and he's optimistic like I am, which is a good thing. Now let's lock in a little bit on sports. Bring my man Mark Van Sickle in and see what he thinks about this national championship game tonight. We've got Houston and Florida. What say you, MVS?
Man, since the beginning of the tournament, I've thought Florida was the team to beat just because they've been so hot at the end of the season. But with what Houston has been doing this year, how they play to the whistle, end of the game situations, This is a truly pick 'em game that I don't know. I'm going to say Florida just because I picked them the whole way, but I would not be shocked to see Houston win this thing.
I haven't asked you this. Do I send my newsletter? Are you on my newsletter chain? I need to add you to my MailChimp. My newsletter yesterday that I sent to my patrons, I told a story about Kelvin Sampson from the 1990s when he was a coach at Oklahoma, and he was jogging up Signal Hill by Channel 4 as we were driving back. We pulled over on the side of the road and interviewed him. And he just couldn't have been nicer. He was like all sweaty and jogging.
That's awesome.
It was just great. And I was like, I've always liked Kelvin Sampson. Now I know that he got in the trouble with the NCAA over something that's laughable today. It was
The texting.
It was phone calls or something. It's like ridiculous stuff. But I've always liked Kelvin Sampson. So I thought in my newsletter I'd do a little digging on him. Literally digging. You know what his first head coaching job was?
What was that?
1981 Montana Tech Ore Diggers of the NAIA.
I was going to say, I know Montana Tech.
He was 0-15 in league that year.
Ooh.
What do you think he was thinking? What do you think in a million years Kelvin Sampson thought in 1981, I'm 0-15 at Montana Tech. He's freezing his nuggets off, coaching basketball in Montana in the winter. Little NAIA school where they probably had like 2 of those Chevy vans or something. They shuttled the kids around in. You know, it must have been like that.
For sure.
What do you think his wife was saying? What do you think his family was saying? What are you doing, Kelvin?
Yeah, they probably didn't think they were going to be in the Final Four in 40 years, whatever we're at now.
He had the greatest line of the tournament Saturday night after they won. Don't sleep on Houston, he said. Don't sleep on Houston. We didn't go 35-4 in some toy poodle league.
That was awesome.
Is that a Westminster dog category or something? I don't know where that came from. I've never heard that reference. Have you?
No. But I thought it was kind of funny.
It's
I did
hilarious.
like it.
I mean, is the toy poodle category at the Kennel Club like the lowest level of the dog show?
I don't know if it's low level, but
Must have been something
maybe.
like that. Did you see this young lady golfer from Kansas State, Carla Bernat?
yes, that was cool.
It was cool. That might be the most women's golf I've ever watched. And I watched it for about an hour and a half on Saturday when I realized it was the final round. I'd heard that she was playing well. She's from Spain. She's a senior at Kansas State. And at Augusta National, which is the mecca of golf on this planet, they now have a women's national amateur tournament there. It's the 5th year that they have had it. And Carla Bernat was a bit of an underdog on Saturday. The number 1 player in the world was leading. I think Carla's ranked something around the mid-20s, 25, 27 for the amateurs in the world. And she just played great. She got to the 10th hole, which I think looks like, for my game, would easily be the hardest hole on that course. And she hit it in the worst possible spot you could hit it on her second shot. It was up on this slopey hill. The green runs away from you. It's just impossible. Everybody's thinking double bogey. And she pitches it up real softly about 15 feet down below the hole and then makes the 15-footer for par. I'm like, okay, she's not going all Rory McIlroy here. She's not freaking out on the back 9 at Augusta. And she kept it together and won. It was just the coolest thing ever. She now gets to play in every major championship around the world in women's golf.
Man, that's awesome.
U.S. Open, British Open. She's going to travel the world. Her assistant coach from K-State is her caddy. I'm guessing the assistant coach has coached her last day. Pretty sure she's going to be a caddy the rest of the way. So we love that. Royals took 2 out of 3 this weekend over the Baltimore Orioles. We like that. Bobby Witt hot? Is he out of it? Are you seeing enough in his swing right now that we're pretty sure this first week start is over and he's going to be regular Bobby Witt going forward?
Yeah, I think we're going to see regular Bobby. I think he's just getting into the season, getting his reps, and now he's going to be full-on Bobby Witt Jr., the one we know and love.
He was a home run shy of the cycle yesterday. It is the longest running streak in Major League Baseball. The Royals have not had somebody hit for the cycle since 1990, George Brett. Bobby Witt Jr. has done 3 of the 4 11 times already.
He's going to get it this year. I'm calling it now. He's going to get it this year.
He might get it at home where he's hitting 377 since the start of last year.
It's crazy.
He loves him some Kauffman Stadium. And, it suits him so well. We always love home runs and whatnot. It's not the greatest home run ballpark, but boy, it's sure good for triples. If you're Bobby Witt, you want to hit for the cycle, Kauffman Stadium is a good place to start. They got the Twins for 4 games starting tonight out at the K. The Twins were picked by many to win the division, so it is on. Baseball season and the national championship game tonight. Once again, my thanks to Trevor Holsinger, my friends at Aspen Wealth Management, online at aspenwealth.com for coming in. We may have them back. Love to hear your feedback from them and any thoughts that you have on where we're headed here. The Dow is hanging in there today. We're doing okay, folks. We're doing better than the other countries. It's what we do. The Vince Show is up next.